We now have a decision in regards to our battle for public records owed to you all from the Madison School District. A Dane County judge siding with us that the records in question will be made public. NBC15 Investigates' Elizabeth Wattis has been leading the fight for these records for months. Elizabeth, you were in the courtroom today when the judge made her decision.
And it was the result we wanted, knowing we will soon have the records that Communications Director Tim LeMonds didn't want the public to know about. Back in March, MMSD's head of communications there, Tim LeMonds, sued his employer, MMSD, trying to block the release of a 14-page complaint made against him. NBC15 got involved in the case as a third party to argue the district, by law, has to make the complaint public. LeMonds' attorneys argued the release of the records will harm his reputation. But today, a judge decided his personal interest does not outweigh the public's right to know.
I do not think that the petitioner or the plaintiff, Mr. LeMonds, has come close to showing that the public interest of protecting his reputation outweighs the public's right to know, especially in a case involving the public schools.
Now the judge there just needs to sign the order, and then we will get a hold of those records. I will then make them public for everyone to see. Live in the newsroom, Elizabeth Wattis, NBC15 Investigates.